Welcome back for another Hoax Minisode. Once again, I'm Jesstin, and this time we're going south of the border. Far, far, far south. South America, actually. Today, we are taking a look at DeLoy's ape. Now, this is a cryptid mainly known from a famous photograph. If you've already been interested in cryptids, you've probably come across it before. A single black and white photo of a dead ape sitting on a box with its head propped up by a stick. And I'm kind of astonished anyone ever believed in this, because it is by far one of the laziest hoaxes I think I've ever seen. But I'll get to that in a minute. First, some background. Louis-François Fernand Hector de Loys was a Swiss geologist and something of a prospector. From 1917 to 1920, he was part of an expedition on the hunt for oil in Venezuela. On some unspecified date during that period, his group was near the Colombian border when, according to DeLoy, two large bipedal apes came out of the jungle to attack the group, throwing feces and yelling and waving tree branches around. The men, of course, having guns, shot at the apes, killing one and wounding the other, which ran away. Upon examining the body, they discovered something they had never seen before. To explain what I mean, I'll just give a quick refresher on primates. South America only has monkeys, the New World primates. They have tails and are generally pretty small. Europe, Africa, and Asia have the Old World primates, which do include some monkeys, but also, unlike South America, the apes. Apes are generally larger than monkeys and have no tail. Now, the South American primate that DeLoy photographed supposedly had no tail, stood about 4 feet tall, and shared a few other minor characteristics with the Old World apes. So, to make a record of this strange creature, DeLoy propped up the body and took a picture, as one does. So, alright, earlier I called this a lazy hoax, and that's because most experts agree it's just a spider monkey. First of all, the body is facing the camera, so you can't see whether or not it even has a tail. It looks like it could be bipedal, but it's literally being propped up with a stick, so that doesn't tell us anything. The only other object in the picture is the box it's sitting on, which could be any size and provides no scale reference for how big the creature is. And since DeLoy only took the picture and not the remains, all of the other claims, like the number of teeth and everything else, none of those could be checked. Plus, the most damning piece of all, it looks like a spider monkey. Seriously, look up the picture of DeLoy's ape and then look up pictures of upright spider monkeys. The resemblance is very obvious. Before writing this episode, I was already familiar with DeLoy's ape and I expected that to be the end of the story. But I actually found another really interesting side note to the whole thing. The photo itself and DeLoy's story of the encounter didn't actually become famous until closer to 1929, when a friend of his, French anthropologist Georges Montandon, I'm bad with French, so I'm just going to call him George, he was flipping through DeLoy's notebooks and found a picture of the ape. He convinced DeLoy to go public with the story and became its biggest defender. But here's the thing. Loren Coleman put forth the theory that George actually asked DeLoy to create the hoax. Now, why would he do that? Money, maybe? That's the usual thing, right? No. Nothing so simple. See, George was actually a grade A racist shithead. He believed in a theory that was somewhat popular at the time called hologenesis. Now, I'm not going to go into hologenesis because the theory was originally published in Italian and I honestly didn't understand most of what I could find. But basically, the theory, to George at least, was that different human racial groups did not descend from a single ancestor, but from separate primate branches. Yeah, you can already see how problematic that is. The only problem for George was that there weren't any South American apes that he could point to as an ancestor of all the indigenous South American tribes. So, the theory goes, he convinced his friend to invent one. There's no way to tell if that's really how the photograph came about, but there is no denying that's why George supported it so much. I wish racist heads were a thing of the past, but there is a slight silver lining to this story in particular. George was also a total Nazi collaborator during the war and was eventually killed by the French resistance in 1944. And hologenesis likewise fell out of favor. Let's just hope it doesn't make a comeback with flat earthers or anti-vaxxers. So, yeah, just a monkey on a stick supported by a stupid racist. And that about does it for this one. Once again, come back on Monday for a sketch of the creature, and keep sending in those questions because we really look forward to answering them. Bye!